a pose in yoga that like I've done so much work with, and probably a lot of people say this same pose is something like a handstand. And like for me, the handstand is not only just this like super advanced like fancy party trick skill, because I think a lot of people look at handstand and they're like, oh, I'll never do that, or like, oh, what's the point? And I think there's handstand is such an interesting movement. It's not just a pose. It's like it's a progression. It could take you years to progress your strength and mobility towards doing it, which is kind of why it's so interesting. I think the other part about handstands that I'm like really interested in is it's so strength dependent, but it's also so skill dependent. And so it's just kind of a game of like, how many hours do you have to put into this? And it's an interesting way to like sense where your body is and notice what your proprioception is like. And when we're walking around on our feet, we're all pretty good at like sensing where we are, sensing where the walls are. We don't like bump into things all the time. However, when we kick up into a handstand, like against the wall, it's like all of a sudden we have no idea where the walls are. We have no idea where we are. And it's like, it's really interesting. I think that if we look at handstand as a more like holistic thing of like inverting, and so then the cardiovascular stuff starts to change, the way we think starts to change, the way we feel our bodies starts to change, then it's a really interesting thing to look at, and not only just like some ridiculous skill. And I think that handstand training is also like really complicated. And in the past, like how many years did I just go into the yoga studio and the teacher was like, okay, just kick up at the wall and like start kicking. And one day you'll get there. One day, years from now, you'll be able to do this. And I don't think that's accurate. I don't think that's the way that we should be teaching these poses to people. And so it also is interesting because it really presents the idea of like a solid progression. And it's step by step by step by step.